There's a version of you that nobody sees. The you that comes alive early in the morning when you're alone with your thoughts. The you that has ideas you don't share because people would think you're crazy. The you that feels things other people don't seem to feel. Energy in rooms, the weight of conversations, the pull of something you can't quite name. The you that's fascinated by consciousness, by creating, by the idea that reality is way more fluid than most of us even think. That you keep that you locked away. You've learned to translate yourself, to edit yourself, to present the acceptable version while hiding the real version. In meetings, you talk about metrics and strategies, but you're actually thinking about energy and alignment. And at dinner parties, you nod along to small talk, but you're dying to talk about purpose and meaning and what you're really doing here on this planet, right? And with your family, you keep it light because the deep stuff usually makes them uncomfortable. They just look at you weird, right? You've gotten so good at hiding your weird that sometimes you forget it's even there, but it's there. It's always there, waiting. And here's what I want and need you to hear. That weird, that's not your liability. That's your weapon. Every single thing that makes you different, that makes you too much, or too deep, or too intense, or too weird, is exactly what the world needs from you now. But you've been trained to see it backwards. Like you think your value is in being normal, relatable, acceptable, right? Like everyone else, just fit in. So you hide the parts that don't fit. You downplay your interests. You dumb down your insights. You keep your real passions to yourself. And meanwhile, you're consuming content from people who don't hide their weird, okay? You're reading books by mystics who went all in on consciousness. You're listening to podcasts by people who built an entire career, around their unconventional ideas. You're following teachers who said, screw the normal. This is what I believe. And they found millions of people who are waiting for exactly that message. Like Joe Dispenza talking about quantum fields and rewiring your brain. Weird, right? Wayne Dyer saying you create your reality with your thoughts. Weird. Michael Singer living at a meditation center and talking to his inner roommate. Super weird. But you love them because they're weird, because they gave themselves permission to be fully, unapologetically themselves. They stopped hiding their weird. They weaponized it in a way, right? And they built their entire message around that. And that's exactly what you're not doing. Let me tell you about the moment I realized I was doing the same thing. I'd been meditating for years, studying consciousness, manifestation, reality transferring, A Course in Miracles, all of it, diving deep into, everything around that subject. And I loved it. It was changing my life, but I kept it separate. At work, I was the sales guy, the trainer, the guy who understood handling objections and handling no's. Nobody knew that I was waking up at 6 a.m. to meditate and to journal and to work with energy. Nobody knew I was synthesizing teachings from a dozen spiritual traditions into something I was calling the reality engineering protocol. That was my weird, right? My secret weird. And I told myself I was being smart, unprofessional. Then I was protecting my credibility by keeping the spiritual stuff separate from the business stuff. But really what was happening? I was terrified. Terrified people would actually think I'd lost it. Terrified I'd be dismissed as one of those woo-woo people. Terrified that if I actually talked about what I was really passionate about, I'd lose respect, lose opportunities, lose relationships. So I kept playing small, kept being the acceptable version, kept my real gifts hidden until I couldn't anymore, right? Because here's what happens when you hide your weird for too long. You start dying inside. Not dramatically, but slowly, quietly. You wake up one day and you realize you've been performing a role for so long that you can barely remember who you actually are. So I made a decision. I started building Guide. It's a meditation app based on AI and personalization and reality engineering. All the weird stuff I've been hiding. And you know what? I was really terrified what happened? That nobody would get it, that people would roll their eyes, that I'd be exposed as this fraud or flake and waste my time. But you know what actually happened? Well, right now, a whole lot of time just started, but I'm not worried. I used to fear rejection, so I quit. But now I'm openly sharing and trusting the right people are going to find what I'm offering and sharing. People who'd been waiting for someone to talk about meditation this way. People who were tired of just the traditional generic meditations, and they wanted something real, something personalized, something that actually addressed what they were going through. My weird became my wealth the moment I stopped hiding it. And here's what I need you to understand. Everything that makes you weird makes you unique. And unique is the only thing that's really valuable. In a world where everyone's trying to fit in, trying to be normal, trying to not rock the boat, the person who's willing to be different is the person people will remember. The ideas you have that you see that are just too out there, someone needs to hear. The interests you have that nobody else shares, that's your niche, your lane, your message. The way you see the world that other people don't get, that's your perspective, your value, your gift. You think you need to be more normal to succeed, but normal is invisible. Normal is forgettable. Normal is a race to the bottom where you're competing with millions of people who are exactly like you. Your weird is the only thing that can't be copied. It's the only thing that's actually yours. And the people you're meant to serve, they're not looking for normal. They're looking for someone who finally gets them. Someone who sees the world the way they do. Someone who's willing to say, the things they've been thinking, but we're just too afraid to say. I can relate to all this, right? They're looking for your weird, but they can't find it if you keep hiding. And let me tell you what it costs to keep hiding. There's three things. First, you attract the wrong people because you're putting out the wrong signal. When you present the normal version of yourself, the real you get normal, real you connection. Like surface friendships, professional but hollow relationships, people who like the mask but would never know the real you. And that's what happens. And then you feel lonely, even though you're surrounded by people because none of them actually know you. Second, what happens is you miss your calling because your calling isn't the normal thing. It's the weird thing, the thing you're meant to do, the way you're meant to contribute, the impact you're meant to make. It's all connected to your weird. But you can't, step into your calling while you're busy pretending to be someone else. And third, this is the big one. You teach yourself that who you really are isn't acceptable. Every time you hide your truth, you reinforce the belief that your real self isn't good enough, that you need to be someone else to be loved, to be successful, to belong. And that belief becomes a prison. You start censoring yourself automatically. You don't even notice you're doing it anymore. It becomes second nature to translate, to edit, to perform. And the real you, the weird you, that you gets buried so deep, you start to forget it even exists until something wakes you up, like a book, a podcast, a conversation, a moment of clarity at some random time during the day. And you remember, oh, this is who I actually am. And I've been hiding. So what happens when you finally stop hiding, when you let your weird out, when you start showing off as who you actually are? Two things. Some people will back away. That's perfect. Those people weren't your people anyway. No problem. They liked the performance, not the person. Let them go. Some people will surprise you. That normal friend, turns out they meditate too. That coworker you thought was conventional, they're also into manifestation. That family member you wrote off, they've been waiting for someone to go deep with too. You want people will find you. The ones who've been looking for someone like you. The ones who resonate with your frequency. The ones who don't think you're weird. They think you're home. Your energy will shift because you're not carrying the weight of pretending anymore. You're not splitting yourself in half. Okay. Normal you in public, real you in private, you're integrated, whole, aligned. Your work will get better because you're finally bringing yourself to it. Your real insights, your unique perspective, your actual gifts. And here's the thing about gifts. They only work when you use them. A gift you keep hidden isn't a gift. It's a tragedy. So here's what I want you to do. This week, I want you to practice not hiding, not in some big dramatic way. You don't have to post like a manifesto on LinkedIn or show up to Thanksgiving dinner or the next family dinner or whenever time of year you're watching this. Just stop editing yourself quite so much. And when someone asks you what you're into, tell them I meditate or whatever it is. See what happens. When someone asks what you've been reading, mention the books you're reading. Don't translate it into something like just more acceptable. And when you have an insight in a meeting, possibly at work, or share it, even if it comes from a weird place. When you feel the urge to dumb yourself down, don't. Be yourself. and, who recognizes you and see that. And yet some people will look at you funny. Some will change the subject. Some won't get it, but someone will. Someone will light up. Someone will lean in. Someone will say, oh my God, me too. Tell me more. Oh, I've been looking for someone who thinks like this too. And that moment, that recognition is worth 1,000 polite conversations with people who don't know you. Your weird is your beacon. It's how your people find you, but they can't see it if you keep it in your pocket. And here's what I've, been keeping in my pocket, and I've learned about building guide. The people who connect with it aren't the ones looking for another meditation app. They're the ones who are tired of generic content, who want something deeper, who, it's more personalized, more real. They're the ones, who've been searching for someone who approaches meditation a lot differently than what they've seen, who treats it as a transformational tool, not just a relaxation tool. They're the ones who resonate with the weird. And I could have built a normal meditation app like Calm, those great, and Insight Timer and generic guided meditations, the stuff that already is out there. But that's not what I'm passionate about. That's not my weird. My weird is reality engineering. It's AI powered personalization. It's treating meditation as a practice for living your purpose and creating your reality consciously, not just feeling peaceful. And the moment I stopped apologizing for that, the moment I said, this is what I believe, this is how I do it, take it or leave it, the right people are starting to show up. And I'm glad you're here. It's early, but it's been fun. I'm detached from the results, allowing those who are seeking this and like this channel and that, find it. So if you're tired of hiding your weird, if you're ready to find people who actually get you, if you want a meditation practice that's as unique as you are, instead of like a one size fits all, I built a guide for you. And I'm running like a 30-day beta program where you will get personalized meditations based on your specific journey, not like some generic script. It's a community of people who don't think you're weird, right? They think like you. I'm gonna also, for this beta crew, be doing weekly coaching calls where we talk about the real stuff, tools that help you integrate this stuff into your practice and your life. And this isn't for everyone. It's specifically for people who've been hiding their depth, their spirituality, their real interests, and they're finally ready to stop. The link's in the description. There's limited spots, but you have to let your weird out. Stop hiding, stop translating, stop pretending to be normal when you're anything but. None of us are, right? The world has enough normal. You don't need more normal. You need your weird, your depth, your truth, your unique way of seeing the world. Someone out there is waiting for exactly what you have, but they can't find you if you're camouflaged. So take off the mask, let your weird show, and watch what happens when you finally give yourself permission to be yourself. So tell me in the comments, what's one weird thing about you that you usually hide? Let's practice, being ourselves together in this YouTube community. And I would love it if you enjoy this video to like and share it, subscribe it, all the things, anything of those would be greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon and much love. Bye-bye.